Did you miss me? Because I missed you. But hold on, this line isn't just me being dramatic. The phrase, "guess who's back," is actually a direct reference from Eminem Slim Shady himself from the song Without Me. You know, the one, "guess who's back, back again." And here's where things are getting interesting. Yoshi-P's shirt showed up wearing the phrase, "guess who's back" on it. Now, if you've been around the Final Fantasy XIV community for a bit, you already know this man does not wear shirts randomly. Every single time, people go full detective mode trying to decode, what does it mean? So naturally, people started connecting it to "Without Me." And when you actually take a look at the lyrics and the tune of the song, it's all about a return, a comeback, something re-entering into the spotlight in a big way, which raises a question. Is that new job or something returning in a completely new form? Or is it inspired by that chaotic, flashy, center of attention energy the song has? Because if you think about it, that vibe could literally line up with a physical range job. Flashy, aggressively, stylishly, something that demands attention. Now, does this confirm anything? No, not at all. I might get completely wrong here. But it is kind of a hint Yoshi-P would drop. Oh, absolutely. Let's dive in! So there's been a lot of ideas floating around. Things like performer or songstress. And I get why people are landing there, but the more I think about it, that doesn't feel right. We already have a performer style job. That's literally dancer. And songstress, that already exists in Final Fantasy. But more importantly, Yoshi-P said the new jobs are going to be original to the Final Fantasy series. That's the key here. If we take that seriously, we need to shift how we are thinking about this and go outside the box. So I started asking myself, what are we actually missing? Not just in a theme, but in gameplay and weapon design. And that's where things started to click for me. My first idea is a dual-handed crossbows. Now hear me out. We already have the traditional bow with the bard. That lane's covered, but crossbows, that's been barely touched. And most importantly, we never get jobs that use the offhand weapon slot. Think about it. Paladin, ninja, that's basically it. And players have been asking for more offhand jobs for years. Not just for gameplay, but for glamour. And don't get me started on Viper. That had the perfect chance to go full dual wield, main hand and offhand fantasy. But we didn't get it. So imagine this instead. A fast, agile, dual crossplay, a dual agile crossbow job. I just really like Viper, I'm sorry. We got some quick bursts, some mobility, and some stylish animations. I mean, just look at Bard and like how they have it as evolved. Just look at it. Imagine that with 2 crossbows. Hear me out. Something like that feels completely different from Bard and Machinist and Dancer. And here's the part that really sold me on this idea. At FanFest, when Yoshi-P asked the audience, what do you think the next job will be? People shouted out crossbow. So the idea isn't coming out of nowhere. The demand is there. But let's get a little crazier for a second. What about Kusurigama? Yeah, I know, it sounds wild, but that's actually why it works. A chained sickle type of weapon gives you something we do not have. It could be mid-range control, pull mechanics, spinning, flowing combos. And it doesn't have to be just a sickle. You could put like a dagger on it. You can put like a little scythe on it that's like a sickle, but it has more of like that straighter edge. I don't know, there's like a lot of ideas here that I saw with Google Images, so, you know, it's there. And it could blur the line between melee and rage in a really unique way, which you already have with Dancer, so it can line up in that type of abilities. And as far as I can tell, we don't see this weapon style in any Final Fantasy series games. And again, this all loops back to what Yoshi-P said. They want jobs that feel new, original, and distinct. Not just another variation of something we already have. And both of these ideas, dual crossbows or Kisugames, they check those boxes. Now, if we want to dial it back a bit, there are also simpler options. A standard crossbow user could still work. More grounded, easier design, and still fills that missing weapon niche. Or even something like a whip-based job. Which, okay, hear me out. A whip sounds simple, but in Final Fantasy XIV combat design, that could translate into more mid-range attacks, sweeping AoEs, and maybe even some positional style mechanics. It could be flashy, it could be stylish. And it would still be something we currently don't have. So when you really break it down, performer already covered, song-based job already exists, but weapon identity, that's where the real opportunity is. And right now, crossbows and Kusagame feel like the two strongest contenders. But I want to hear from you. Do you think we're finally getting crossbows? Is Kusagame too wild or exactly what this game needs? Or do you feel like you have a completely different idea? Drop it in the comments. I love reading your comments. And hey, if one of these end up being right, you heard it first. Stay sweet, everyone. Goodbye!